The Ohio State Buckeyes showed against Tennessee why they are still the most talented team in all of college football, even with all the struggles they have had this season. I know Oregon is going to act like they don't care and are locked in, but there is no way that they are happy they ended up playing the Bucks in their first game of the playoff. It's tough to beat a team twice in a season, and I think the Bucks will make all the adjustments. I don't think college football is ready for what is about to happen. I think Ryan Day finally recognized at the very last second with his job on the line that this offense needed to throw the ball and move down the field. And once he and Chip Kelly made the adjustment, this team unlocked its fullest potential. But I already made a video talking about that Tennessee game. This one is going to be about the Oregon game and how the Buckeyes can win, and beyond that, how they can win the national championship. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so between Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, the other guys down the depth chart, and then the backfield of Judkins and Henderson, this team is terrifying and has been the whole season. It was all just about unlocking the potential, and I think they finally did. And the reason was the offensive line. For one of the first times all season long, the Buckeyes O-line did not let Tennessee get much, if any, pressure on Will Howard. He was super comfortable in the pocket, and he finally showed why he was the guy that put up the numbers he did at Kansas State. But Oregon is a whole different animal. This Rose Bowl is a matchup between two teams that went all in, and basically went by the championship or bust motto this season. So let's talk about some of the X factors in this game. I think the first thing you will be looking at if you're a Buckeyes fan is the defensive line and what they can do against the Ducks O-line in their second crack at things. They never really got much pressure on Dillon Gabriel in that first game, and that just can't happen with how talented this group is. The defensive line definitely got better as the season went on, and one thing that would be interesting to see is how they distribute the snap counts. When you look at the depth chart, they have the talent in the second unit, you know, a guy like Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson. I think they need to get each guy the proper snap count and workload so that Jack Sawyer can be as fresh as possible to have a game like he did against Tennessee. Really, the biggest thing we need to see from this defensive line is just them impacting the game. I don't care about the numbers on the stat sheet. They need to make Dillon Gabriel feel like he doesn't have a lot of time to throw. They need to get to him quick because you can't give Tez Johnson time to get out in space. That is going to make life real hard on the secondary. But if Ohio State is really distributing the snap counts and keeping fresh legs on the field, I think we are going to see a much better result than what happened in the regular season game. And even with all the struggles, the Bucks still only lost by 1 in a game they really should have won. They just managed that final minute about as poorly as possible. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is the Jaden Fielding situation. I think it's pretty obvious that he is just an average kicker, maybe even below average. He's not going to make any long kicks to bail this team out of anything, and Ryan Day has to game plan for that. The Buckeyes need to take the deep shots. They need to once again get the ball out in space to their playmakers. They cannot go into Pasadena with a stagnant offense that is going to settle for field goal attempts. This is going to have to be a team that is prepared to go for it on fourth and take risks, and this is going to be an offense that has to put up a ton of numbers. And once again, as I talked about in my last video, this offense has to pass to then set up the run. I know it's just basic stuff that everyone knows, but I was begging Ryan Day to implement it all season long. And once Jeremiah Smith hauled in a couple deep balls, the running lanes opened up for Henderson, and he was able to take one to the house. There is no physically possible way when Ohio State is utilizing all their talent correctly to stop them. When you adjust to the deep balls and bring somebody in the secondary out deeper, then Howard will just hit the underneath routes or hand it off. And when the defense stacks the box, Jeremiah Smith can get open nearly every time. This really is a team that should be 13-0 right now. We've never seen anything like it talent-wise, both offensively and defensively. But Ryan Day screwed up, but he still does have a chance to redeem himself by beating Oregon. The biggest question for Oregon is most definitely the perimeter. This game is going to be played on the perimeter. Obviously, we all know for some reason Ryan Day wanted to win that Michigan game with the offensive line. It was a disaster, but there is no choice now. This game will be won or lost on the perimeter. In the Tennessee game, we saw the approach of we're going to lean on our best players to win us the football game. And you know Oregon is going to do that. But in the game against Penn State, the perimeter stuff surprisingly was a big problem. Drew Aller is not really known as a rusher, but he held his own in that game on the ground. I know Will Howard is also a guy that is not particularly known for mobility, but I highly doubt Oregon is preparing for him to take off. So on those dead plays that normally would result in a sack or no gain, I would love to see him take off and try to get a few yards. I doubt there is going to be any QB spying. I hope Ryan Day is looking at the film from the Big Ten Championship and seeing that. Again, I'm not asking for anything too special. I know Will Howard is not going to break anything loose or anything like that, but if he could every now and then take off with 2 hands on the football for a few yards at a time, that could frustrate the Ducks defense, and it could help the Buckeyes win the perimeter battle. And adding any bit of mobility from Howard on top of all the weapons Ohio State has, I just don't know how you game plan and prepare for it. As an opposing defense, you almost have to zero in on something and just try not to get beat too bad in the other areas. We saw Michigan do it. They just stacked the box and played the run every single time. And Ryan Day and Chip Kelly, being the incredible coaches they are, kept running up the gut. Anyways, back to the Oregon game, I do expect to see the best version of the Bucks. And the only real legitimate question in this game is the offensive line. If they are pushing forward and the running lanes are open and Howard has time to step up and make throws, Ohio State will win this game. They can't play a sloppy, grinded out football game like what happened against Michigan. They have to play clean football, they have to go deep, and if they do, once again, I think this will be a track meet where Ohio State scores over 40 points. And then I would love to see the secondary create a turnover as well. Tez Johnson is one of the fastest players I've ever seen, but if the defense can create some pressure and make Dylan Gabriel uncomfortable, I would not be shocked at all if he forces a throw. If the Bucks can get an interception and flip field position at all in this game, especially early, I think that would really increase their chances of winning. I know that's some obvious stuff. It's like saying if Aaron Judge homers twice, the Yankees will most likely win, but I really would just like to see a huge turnover. But yeah, those are some of my keys to the game. Let's take a look at what some others have had to say.
Ohio State's playing Oregon in the Rose Bowl. I'm going to this game. No suspense. We're going to Pasadena because any excuse I have to go to Pasadena, I go. I will not be dressed like I was dressed last night at Ohio State's game. We'll just go short sleeves out there in Southern California. This could be the best 2 teams in the country. They're playing in the second round because the format of the playoff is jacked up, but this could be the 2 best teams in the country. We already saw them play in what I thought was the game of the year in Eugene earlier this year. Ohio State, just the overall dynamic shift, it just fascinates me here.
And I just think going against this team, the same mindset that we saw on Tennessee, that version of Ohio State is the best team in the country.
What do you think they can learn most from that game that they'd like back against Oregon? What do you think they most took away from it?
I think they already fixed it. I think Ryan Day and company have shown the ability football-wise to see an issue and fix it. They address change so fast, better than any team in the country.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, please let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.